In this video, I'm going to show you how you can find a real relationship in 2026. I'm Andrew Betancourt. I'm a certified relationship coach. I've been working with gay men all across the US since 2023, and let's go ahead and get started. And this video is going to feel a little bit like a workshop, like a coaching session, and we'll kind of work through stuff together. You can click the link below to download a copy of this worksheet. So here's a little bit of a formula that you can kind of play with. So finding a relationship, and I know like semantics, right? We don't really find relationships. We meet people and we build relationships with people, right? You're not really going to find a relationship that's already pre-built, but for lack of a better term, we'll say finding a relationship. Okay, to find a relationship, you need what's called a supportive mindset plus meeting people plus creating attraction plus compatibility. So let's start off with the supportive mindset. So in my work with gay men, I have found that they sometimes have one of three mindset blocks. The first one is a lack of confidence in themselves. A lack of confidence in themselves. The second one, and that sounds like I'm not attractive enough compared to gay standards, I'm too old, I don't make enough money, so on and so forth. Number two is a lack of confidence in the dating pool. This sounds like everyone just wants hookups, monogamy's dead, no one wants a serious relationship these days, everyone's taken, all of that. You don't have confidence in the dating pool. And the third is a deeper wound. So oftentimes just coming out is tough enough for people. Past relationships, you're not over an ex. You have an anxious attachment or a fear of abandonment, perfectionism, something like that is often challenging for people. So basically, what we're going to do is we need a supportive mindset to help counteract these things. The deeper wounds, you're going to probably need to keep working with a therapist for that kind of thing. But as far as mindset goes, we want to come up with what's called a supportive mindset. So let me give you an example of that. So I'm just going to move this up here. So a supportive mindset is going to counteract the fears that you have in dating. Here is a kind of standard mindset that you can borrow. So I am incredibly attractive, right? That's the confidence part. I'm compatible with lots of men. That's a confidence in the dating pool. And it's only a matter of time. That's just confidence in general, being in a good place. So this is what I would recommend for you is you can practice these affirmations. I have one client who practiced these affirmations and he is currently seeing someone. And if these don't fit for you, you can change them. And most importantly, you want them to address the mindset blocks that you have, right? You want them to be specific to your mindset blocks, but this is a good starting place. Okay, so now the next part of this is meeting people. We have to meet people. Honestly, sometimes when I work with men and I host calls, I've had hundreds of calls nationwide, and oftentimes they're single just because they haven't met enough people. I'll be like, when was the last date you went on? And they'll be like, oh, last year. And I'll be like, how many dates did you go on last year? They'll say one or two. It's like we're not meeting enough people, especially if we work from home or an office and we work and we go to the gym and we go to the market. That's not enough touch points. So there's only two ways to meet people: online and or in person, or both. You can use the one that you enjoy more. Let's start with in person because that one's a little bit more straightforward. With in person, you simply need to be seen more. That's the mantra for you. It's safe for me to be seen. Okay, we need to be seen more. A couple things you can do is you can spend more time in public places. You can spend time at a coffee shop on the weekends doing work or reading a book. If you were to read a book that queer men recognize, like The Velvet Rage or some kind of self-help book or some kind of queer book, people recognize things, right? That's a conversation starter. Or if you wear like a pride bracelet or a pride hat or a pride shirt, right? You don't have to wear all three at once, but if you wear some kind of identifier and you're spending time in public, you're going to be seen more. People are going to see you and know, oh, that guy's gay. Another thing you can do is you can attend more classes, more socials, more events, and more groups. This works better in big cities, I find. because they don't have a ton of offerings in like the smaller cities. But if you can find like a queer yoga group or some kind, a lot of pride sports these days, things like that, your social circle is going to expand. And then thirdly, we can just say yes more often. If you get invited to a wedding, if you get invited to your friend's birthday, if you get invited out with a couple of friends, just say yes more to expand your social circle. Okay, number three, or sorry, the next thing is online dating. So a lot of people hate online dating. And the reality is, online dating sucks, but you can definitely find a relationship from online dating. Why? Because it's simply a way to meet people, and that's a huge component with finding a relationship is we need a way to meet people. Online dating can suck because it pulls from the general population. Well, your ideal partner is not the general population. Your ideal partner is like makes up a specific portion of the general population, right? You want someone who's educated and a good communicator and XYZ XYZ. The dating apps pull from the general population. So so your conversion rate from a dating app is going to be low. And yet, it's worth it because it's an effective way to meet lots of people. And so, for example, let's say you match with 10 people and only two of them are a good fit for you and they respond to messages. That's okay. That's actually normal. If you get along with everyone, that means that your ideal partner is everyone. It's the general population, and it's usually not. At the same time, we need to use specific apps. So I would recommend Bumble, Hinge, and Tinder. And I know some of you hate those apps, but I personally don't recommend Grindr, especially if you're dealing with self-worth issues and self-esteem. If you're completely detached from the outcome, Grindr's totally fine, and Grindr can actually work. I know people who've gotten married on Grindr. Why? Because, again, it meets that component of meeting people. But if you've never been in a relationship, I would not use Grindr. Otherwise, it would have worked for you already. With dating, we need compatibility, which we'll talk about in a minute. And Grindr is not the best way to suss that out because most people don't have face photos. They have a torso. They don't even use their real name on there. That's really hard to find your ideal partner. So that's why I prefer apps like Hinge, apps like Bumble. Tinder is hit or miss. And the idea is you're going to call out your ideal partner and you're going to filter out the guys who aren't. I have other videos that expand more on this, and my coaching obviously helps with that too. And then with attraction, once we're meeting guys, we want to create attraction. We want to be ourselves and see if attraction can form. And the way we're going to do this is you have to know what your attractor factors are and give yourself permission to lean into them. So for example, I'm just pulling up content from my course so you can see. So an attractor factor is a quality or trait that people find attractive. And you already have some of these. So you have to know what about your energy creates attraction for people. Okay? And then compatibility. So you are compatible with a certain type of person, and here's the biggest mistake that I see with people is people just pursue men that they're attracted to. You have to realize that these two things go together. We create attraction with men we're compatible with, not just everyone. That's why it's insane to me that people feel the need to post spicy pictures of themselves. That is not the correct way to attract people, because when you're doing that, you're attracting everyone, right? Your net is too big. So, for example, if you're posting more people find you attractive than the amount of people you're compatible with. So if you're using spicy photos, you're simply throwing out a net to people who find you attractive, but really it's the other way around. We want to create attraction with the people that you're compatible with. Okay? So let's talk so again, a big mistake that I see for people is they pursue men they're simply attracted to. That is not the whole picture though. We need compatibility. Here are some things that you can look for as you're filtering and trying to determine compatibility. You don't have to use this like a checklist per se, but it can be helpful. If you are looking for long term, they have to be looking for long term too. This is non-negotiable. I've had um, clients date guys for weeks and a month or so, only to find that they're not even looking for long term. We have to have that be a little check mark for ourselves. Are they accessible, or do they live in a different state? And you have to decide to yourself: do you want to date long distance, or do you prefer to date, here in your area? Um, some guys will date men that live in a different state, like hours and hours away, and they've never even met before. And for some people that works, but for some people it doesn't. So we need to make sure: can you even access this person? Do they even respond to you? Stage of life, not incredibly important, but it can be helpful if they're in similar stages of you, stages of as life as you. But values are more important, so I'm actually going to delete that for now. Sexual compatibility, for some people this doesn't matter. This in fact feels too limiting and restrictive. For some people this is a make it or break it. So I'll let you determine that. Values, spiral dynamics is a way to assess that, but basically we need to have compatible values, and we need to. The other thing I will say is we need a way to assess these things. So, for example, like how do we know if we have similar values with people? Like how do we know if we have compatible personality types and stuff? We have to kind of learn how to pick up on these things. So, attachment styles. A lot of folks like yourself are probably familiar with the attachment styles. We this is so important. I totally downplayed this, not on purpose, but I didn't realize how important this was until recently. And the idea is your attachment styles need to be compatible. And we need to know what your attachment style is. And we need to be able to spot other people's attachment styles. Because if you spot someone's attachment style and it's not compatible, so for example, if you're secure but you lean a little bit anxious and they're avoidant, we're gonna have to be very mindful with that. We're gonna have to make sure that they have emotional stability. Otherwise, it won't end past the honeymoon phase. And then personality types, not incredibly important, but it can be helpful if they're compatible. They don't have to be the same personality type, but some personality types fit together more than the others. But honestly, in my opinion, out of all of these that are what are most important to me, sexual compatibility, if it's applicable, looking for long term values and attachment styles. Those are incredibly important. So there you have it. If you approach dating in this way, where you have a supportive mindset, right? Things that you can fall, beliefs that you can fall on that counteract your limiting beliefs, and you're meeting people and you're creating attraction with those people, and then you're filtering for compatibility, you're probably going to meet someone. If you don't, it's basically you're just missing something in here. And it might not be your fault. It might be your area. It might be a geographical problem, right? Or it might be a mindset thing. But this can be really helpful for you. So I hope that's helpful. I'll invite you to click the link below if you want to book a free call. I'd love to meet you, go over this with you more specifically, give you some insight, and tell you a little bit about my coaching programs. For example, I'll let you go in a minute here, but I have an entire course that breaks down all of these components in different ways and stuff. So lots of resources are available for you. Okay, hope that was helpful. Talk to you soon.